back to the 815 Exchange. I'm your host, Chris Crenshaw, and we are live from the 336 once again for episode 49. I just did that really fast. But yeah, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, episode 49. We had a bunch of championships this week. A bunch of championships. Like Wimbledon, we had the Stanley Cup Finals, we had Euros, Copa America. If you want to count the UFC in there, we got the NBA Finals going on. We have plenty of championships. It's a very championship-oriented episode this week. So, that's what I'm probably mainly going to talk about. But, again, want to start off saying, appreciate all the love. The channel growth recently has been absolutely insane. So I really do, from the bottom of my heart, I appreciate all of the love from the reaction videos, from the podcast. It's been insane recently, so I appreciate it. Let's keep it going. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. As always, if you are enjoying the content. What else? My social medias, as always, are in the description. So if you're looking for a specific, Twitter, TikTok, whatever it is, feel free in the description. And like I said, as always, timestamps, description. Also, everything's in the description. Everything you need, everything you want to find, it's in the description. But yeah, timestamps, looking for a specific segment. You want to hear me talk about the NHL or the MLB or the NBA, whatever it is. If you don't want to watch the full thing, skip to it. It's right there. I got the timestamp for you. But without further ado, we're not going to waste too much time here with episode 49. Episode 50, almost here. That's crazy to think about. But we're going to go to the MMA world, ladies and gentlemen. We had UFC 264, like I mentioned, and we had some big stuff happen. Namely with, of course, there's nothing like a notorious Conor McGregor fight week, and it was an interesting fight week if you watch the embeddeds, even though he didn't show up to episode 4. And if I'm being honest, they weren't the best episodes, but there was a lot of drama going on between him and Dustin. They do not like each other at all, and it leaked into the fight. And Dustin gets the win, but it's by doctor stoppage. And it wasn't because of like a cut. It's because Conor took a wrong step and broke, I don't know if it was his ankle or his leg. It was bad. I don't know what it was. But I've almost become numb. Because this is the 4th straight major UFC event with some type of major injury or freak accident happening and somebody breaking something. I've become numb. I didn't even react. My brain literally went, oh, he broke his ankle or his leg. He's done. I don't know, I think they're going to stop this fight. And then they did. That's what happened. It was no major reaction. I wasn't surprised or anything. It's almost like I expected it. But Dustin had a very good first round. I saw some of the scorecards had it as a 10-8. And I don't know if I'd give it a 10-8. I mean, I can see it being a 10-8. I'd have given it probably a 10-9. Honestly, Dustin, was dominating the grappling exchanges, but he wasn't particularly accurate on the ground, if you know what I mean. If you look at the numbers, if you look at the fight, he wasn't particularly accurate. He was winning position, which matters, but I don't know if it was that dominant, with all due respect. I did have Dustin, as we all know, on TikTok, or you watched last week's episode. I had Dustin winning. I didn't expect him to win like this. This was a very anticlimactic ending to this insanely, powerful, emotional, storied rivalry that spanned almost what? The first fight happened, 7-8 years ago? And now we got the trilogy ending here, even though they did say they're down for a 4th fight. Dustin more out of spite, Conor because he wants revenge. It's a tough situation, It's a tough situation. I'm glad because it allows Poirier to finally move on and take on Charlie Olives while Conor gets, healed back up. Because, let's be honest, the lightweight division was kind of being held up by this rivalry. And Dustin is clearly one of the best lightweights in the world. But he hadn't contended for the title these past 2 times. And he might, if he's the best, he needs to be able to fight the best. And the best is Charlie Olives currently, because he's got the belt. So we'll see who's truly the king of 155 now. But it's unfulfilling, man. Because it's like, it wasn't like, oh, Dustin clearly just, it was inevitable that he was going to stop Conor. They got up before. I mean, honestly, he got up. And Dustin honestly gave him ample opportunity. It was one of the mistakes I saw Conor make in the first round, was he didn't get up when Dustin allowed him to get up. There was plenty of opportunity for Conor to get back up and make this a stand-up fight, which is what he wants it to be. He doesn't want to get in a grappling exchange. He doesn't want to make this a wrestling match. He wants to be able to kickbox with you. And he had opportunities to do that. He was winning the striking exchanges. Similar to the first fight, even though it showed that he was more dialed in on the mixed martial arts side here. As he was throwing the kicks, he was throwing them effectively. It was giving Dustin some trouble early on. But trying to figure out, I think some people kind of pinpointed, he threw the left when they got up. He threw that kick high, and Dustin blocked it. A lot of people think that's where the break happened. It's very common for kicks to have a lot of micro fractures that happen, and that becomes a bigger thing. That could have been what happened. Dustin thinks when he checked the leg kick, even though I'm not sure if he checked the leg kick, if I'm being honest, he wasn't doing a great job there. But yeah, it was an interesting situation. And then afterwards with the post-fight interview, which, I mean, people will call it classless, but I mean, it was Conor. What did you expect? What did you expect? It was a very funny visual, though, of Dustin having to be escorted and almost jumping over the security to attack Conor after Conor is getting interviewed on the ground with Rogan talking about how Poirier's wife is in his DM. So that was an interesting thing to transpire, but it was a disappointing end to what was a pretty good card, if I'm being honest. The co-main event had Gilbert Burns dominating Wonderboy, which, you know, hate to see because you wanted Wonderboy to get that opportunity at Usman. The stylistic matchup there was interesting, but Burns did what Burns does, man. He just came out to win. He wasn't going to win any style points with this win. He just came to win, and he won. And shout out to Burns for that. He gets another crack potentially at Usman because of this. I think he earned it. He earned it. He went out to win, and he did that. Tai Tusavi KOs Greg Hardy. People are going to love that. The people love Tai, the shoey. Big draw in Vegas, apparently, because that celebration afterwards, I mean, just had people, it looked like Stone Cold Steve Austin, you know. People just chucking him beers and him just throwing it. People just pouring it down the tunnel. It was insanity. But yeah, shout to Tai. That was an insane knockout. He's got a little streak. After almost being cut, if I recall, he's on a nice little streak here. Big win here. The Sugar Show stops Moutinho, even though I think Chris Moutinho deserved. After a performance like that, a zombie. Dude was a zombie. Not like the Korean zombie, but like a zombie. Almost like Montel versus Charlo, in which Charlo was hitting him with everything and Montel wouldn't go down. Except Montel was able to get some nice hits on Charlo. Moutinho really wasn't doing anything with Sugar. It was a clear skill discrepancy, and Sugar dominated. I think he landed the most head strikes in any fight ever in the UFC. So, clearly dominant win, and Sean needs to fight ranked opponents from now on. But yeah, Moutinho, great heart, great chin. I mean, he ate everything, and it's not like Sugar's pillow fisted. We know he's got legitimate knockout power. He puts people to sleep. I mean, to sleep. It's like he hit him with a brick, but Moutinho would not. I'm pretty sure the Sugar Show could have hit him with a steel chair, and Moutinho would have kept walking towards him. It was insane. So shout out to Chris Moutinho stepping up on 10 days' notice against one of the top prospects. Getting beat up, should have let you finish the fight, but you went 5 rounds. All due respect. You got the respect of the community. Going off of the main card, I wanted to talk about what was my fight of the night, and that was Michael Pereira getting the unanimous decision versus Nico Price. That was an insane fight action-wise. Pereira, always going to be fireworks with him. He did the signature backflip, and landed it on Nico, which was, that was insanity. Nico fought back, made some adjustments, but Pereira gets a well-deserved UD. He's got a lot of them in a row, and of course, he's very fun to fight. I mean, when you see Pereira, Price, and you see those guys, you just knew it was going to be a firecracker. So, yeah, good stuff. I know it didn't win fight of the night, but it was my fight of the night. Going to kind of just a little summary of everything else major that happened. We had Jessica I get a third eye, or mouth, or second mouth, excuse me. A lot of people said they thought they saw a tongue there. That cut was wow. So, yeah, shout out to Jennifer Myers. She gets the win there, but that cut was vicious. Irene Aldana comes over 4.5 pounds over, and decides to get a KO versus Kuznitska to help make back some of that money. She looked good. She weathered whatever storm Kuznitska had and then got her out very quickly. Time to feed her to the lioness, I guess. Maybe that can be her punishment for coming in overweight. She gets fed to the best ever. I think Nunez works her, but if Aldana had some time to like be nurtured and develop, I think she could become a pretty good fighter. So, yeah. Moving over to the soccer/football world, because ladies and gentlemen, we had some finals in some of the international competitions, the major international comps. We're gonna start off with the fact that it's not coming home, and like Casper Schmeichel said, has it ever been home? Have they ever won it? Can they really even claim that it was ever coming home? Italy gets the win in penalties after we went 1-1 through all of play. Italy gets the win in pins. Gianluigi Donnarumma. Generational talent. People throw generational talent around quite a bit in soccer, and it's entirely too much. But Donnarumma is truly a generational talent. First cap made at 16. He was great. I mean, elite for AC Milan throughout his youth. And now at 22, about to head to PSG and join another one of the world's best goalkeepers in Keylor Navas. He just put on a best-in-the-world type performance here in Euros. Wins man of the tournament. A lot of people said it could go other ways, but I got no complaints with Donnarumma winning it. He was immense. Marcus Rashford missed. Jadon Sancho missed. And then Bukayo Saka missed 3-4-5 to really kind of lose it here for England. Though I can't really put the blame on them, as nobody wants to put the blame on them. Gareth Southgate definitely needs some flack, even though he made some great decisions down the line here. I have to question the decision-making here. I can understand putting Saka. If he's doing well in training, fair play. Put him in the penalties. Do I put him at 5th? I don't know. But I mean, also on the other side of that coin, don't put your best guy 5th. That doesn't make any sense. Sometimes you don't even get to your 5th if somebody messes up. So no reason to put, your best 5th, but maybe put Saka like 3, 4, maybe 2. If he's got the goods, he's been, if he's doing well in training, no problem with that. Just, where you want to put him. Rashford and Sancho, though, have to do better. I know they're young guys, a lot of potential, very highly regarded in the football world. But they have to do better. They have to do better. I honestly think Donnarumma got in their head. And then after seeing Rashford hit the post, that got in Sancho and Saka's head. That they just wanted to make sure they got it past. And just tried to do too much. Tried to do too much and tried to do too little. And overthought it completely. And it cost them. It cost England there late. Also, Southgate. They came in dry, right? They came in cold. They didn't get to warm up or anything. Because they botched. Really, I think he botched the handling of some of those bench guys besides Rashi, Sancho, and Saka. Well, not so much Saka played. But Sancho, Rashford, who else? Foden, even though he played a little bit more than them. Jude Bellingham, DLC. Like, why didn't these guys play? Or DCL, excuse me. Why didn't these guys play? Why didn't they play throughout? With the form that they had throughout the season, maybe if you played them a little bit earlier and throughout the tournament and a little bit earlier in this game, you're not in this situation. One of the strengths of this England team was the depth. They were super duper duper deep. They had attacking talent and young attacking talent for days. However, Southgate didn't utilize it. I get that Sterling and Kane were good this tournament, and that's fine. But you got to figure out a way to incorporate these other guys so you can utilize the strength of your team. And Southgate didn't do that. He did a lot of good things, but he failed in that. They botched bringing them on late. They came in with like 40 seconds. Should have brought them in earlier. And yeah, just a tough situation. Shout out to Gigi. Also for Italy, Federico Chiesa was a menace all turning long. He was great. Juventus got one there. Lorenzo Insigne, he was great. He was a dynamo up front. And of course, we got the 2 Roman warriors, even though they don't play for Roma. A lot of people say they look like Roman soldiers. And listen, another legendary combo for Italy. Italy does 2 things phenomenally well, right? In soccer, probably 3 things. Elegant players, defenders, and goalkeepers. And the defender duo of Leonardo Bonucci, who got the goal, got a classic Italy goal, a poacher's effort, and Chiellini, who was great all series long. Listen, a legendary duo. Legendary. They were a wall back there, all tournament long. A big reason why Italy's been unbeaten for so long. And yeah, they were great. 2 legends for Juventus, 2 legends in Italy. We'll see if they got another, insane cornerback duo. I said cornerback, center back duo coming up. Of course, we had Dustin, Maldini. We had Conor mixed in there too. So we'll see what happens. But Chiellini and Bonucci, congrats. Glad to see y'all get that prized international trophy in the Euros. Another footballing legend who we were glad to see get an international trophy was Messi. He gets it finally. Argentina gets the win 1-0. Even though he had a great tournament, was top scorer. He didn't have a good final here. He was actually, honestly, not even just for his standards, he was just bad objectively, just bad. That miss would have been really bad if Brazil would have scored late. But yeah, Argentina gets it done. Di Maria exploits the Brazilian defense and gets that clean chip. So shout out to Di Maria. A lot of pastimes it's been Messi carrying Argentina to the final, and in these games, this time it was the opposite, and they got it done. So maybe the key was not having Messi carry. But yeah, the last thing he needed, really. Artie was considered possibly the GOAT. And listen, I'm subscribed to my boy Migo. Shout out to you. Co-goats. Because Ronaldo was also the top scorer of the Euros, and he didn't even make it out of the round of 16. Shout out to CR7. But yeah. Messi completes his puzzle, but I'm not going to really do a huge discussion over who's better. I'm just glad that I was born at the right time to see both of them at the peak of their powers and see all the crazy stuff they've done. There will never be another Lionel Messi, and there will never, ever be another Cristiano Ronaldo. Once-in-a-lifetime players. Not generational talents. They're beyond that. They're once-in-a-lifetime, once-in-a-millennia type players. So, yeah. Congrats to CR7. Congrats to Messi. Definitely Messi. And congrats to Argentina on that big Copa America win. Finally getting that Argentinian trophy. Breaking your streak, even though England didn't break theirs because it's coming to Rome. Moving on here quickly, as I have a little bit more time and I can fit this in. Stanley Cup Finals ended. NHL season ended. And yeah, Conn Smythe was the truth. The Conn Smythe winner was the truth. Andre Vasilevsky is nothing but the truth. He's the truth. I said last week, the Lightning got to get their defense. They got to get their goalkeeping right. I said goalkeeping. What was I saying goalkeeping, right? Got to have that play if they want to close out the Canadiens. It didn't happen in Game 4, but it happened in Game 5. Vasilevsky shuts it down. Shuts the door. And, yeah, congrats to the Lightning's Braden Point, Victor Hedman, Cooch, who's had the time of his life with the Cup. Glad to see Tampa Bay get to win it. Congrats to those fans. We had COVID last year. Still have it this year, but not as bad. Y'all can actually celebrate it. So, yeah, congrats to the Lightning going back-to-back. I wouldn't rule them out of getting a three-peat here because bringing that core back, big-time talent. Stamkos is the captain. He's one of the best of his generation. It's a lot of talent there, man. It's a lot of talent. They got a strong core. They've erased all memory of that horrific Blue Jackets series in the first round. What was it, 3 years ago now? So yeah, congrats to the Lightning. They get it done. They get the Stanley Cup. They get the Lord Stanley Trophy, and yeah, we'll see what happens next year. But Lightning got it this year. Canadians, y'all be fine. Young team. Caulfield should be in Calder conversations all next year. If y'all can keep the momentum going, y'all will be around. So yeah, hopefully Carey Price gets his opportunity, or another opportunity at Stanley Cup. But congrats to Lightning, back-to-back. Now to head over to the entertainment biz, or really just TV and music this week, if I'm being honest. Black Widow came out. I'll try to see it this week if I do nothing else. It's going to be a big content week. Hopefully I have a big content week. That's what happens ideally. But for sure, I'm going to try to see Black Widow, and we can talk about that next week. Heard some mixed reviews, but I want to see it for myself, of course, and keep up with, everything Marvel. And we're going to talk about Marvel here right now for TV, because Loki Episode 5, Into the Void. That wasn't the title, but that's what I'm going to title it. Into the Void, we had Thor Loki, Classic Loki, Kid Loki, and of course, the all-famous Oscar award-winning performance, by the way, did in this episode from Alligator Loki. They showed up at the end of episode 4, and we saw a lot more of their characters here in episode 5 as they journey with Loki, as Loki tried to figure out a way to get out of the void and to defeat Alioth. And yeah, classic Loki, Richard E. Grant, phenomenal actor. And classic Loki was great. Hearing his story about how he left, and that's what made him a variant, and how much he missed his brother and all that stuff. That was great to hear about. And him seeing his power, making that sacrifice for Mobius and Sylvie. Sylvie, who managed to get herself into the void as well. Mobius also did. And yeah, they helped save Loki. Or at least not really save Loki. Well, they did save Loki in a sense. Kid Loki, also entertaining character. Young Avenger, possibly. We'll see what happens there. What else? Thor Loki, didn't hear too much about them. We saw President Loki show up in the rest of the Loki variants and had a Loki fight, while our Loki just kind of looked over in just complete disappointment after they kept turning on each other. That was hilarious and great writing. But yeah, Sylvie and Loki shared a moment, a couple moments, as they have been. I got nothing wrong with that romance. Got nothing wrong with that relationship. Absolutely nothing. I know a lot of people find it weird, but it makes so much sense in character. I got no problem with it. And Sophia DiMartino and Tom Hiddleston, as I said last week and the week before, have so much chemistry. It's fine. It's fine. Honestly, it's fine. I'm all about Loki and Sylvie. They enchant Goliath at the end. A lot of people wondering about Kang. Everything seems to be pointing towards him, especially with the characters included. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what Ramona does. Loki and Mobius shared that moment together. Hopefully Mobius gets his jet ski, man. Hopefully he gets his jet ski at the end of episode 6. But yeah, penultimate episode was great. It's been one of my favorite TV shows this year. As everything, Marvel hasn't missed. They haven't missed. We'll see if they miss with Black Widow, but they haven't missed on the TV shows. But yeah, that's episode 5. Can't wait for the finale. Can't wait to talk about it next week. In music, not too much happened. I talked about BTS, so y'all can watch the reaction. I didn't really like it. It was okay. Listen, in being open-minded, it was okay. If that's your flavor, go for it. Nothing wrong with it. Music is objective. Sounded like a High School Musical song to me, so I wasn't really... And not a good High School Musical song, by the way, because some KHSMN has some slaps. Don't get it wrong. They had some slaps, but Permission to Dance it was okay. It was okay, right? It was bang average. It definitely... And I hate that that's the, this is the method they're going with. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in the reaction, but I hate that this is kind of the direction they're going when they're capable of so much more. What helped get them here, but now that they're on the top, it's like they're stagnating, right? It feels like they're stagnating a little bit, and I said that in the reaction. But I hate that this is how people are seeing them, because they're way better than this. Their previous stuff is leagues better than what they've been dropping recently, so we'll see what happens there. I'm trying to keep faith. But what I really wanted to talk about was Dave Santan. Dave dropped his album date, excuse me. He dropped his album date. Coming later, I think it's in 2 weeks, comes later this month. He dropped a song, however, a single called Clash with Stormzy. It was good. It was good. It wasn't great. It was solid. It was pretty good. It was a nice warm-up team, right? It's a warm-up for what we should get and what to expect. I think he's going to go a little bit harder. I got all the faith in the world with Dave, right? Even if I didn't really like this, even though I did like it, it made the playlist. But even if this wasn't the best stuff I've heard from him, I've got absolutely complete faith in him. I have complete faith in him that he's going to bring the goods in the album, because that's how much goodwill Dave has brought up with me, with the brilliance he's made in the past. So, complete faith in Dave. He's great. Stormzy, they both had some solid stuff in here, but it wasn't the best of them. But yeah, if you want to listen to Clash, go right ahead. Try to get in the British hip-hop scene. Stormzy, Dave, 2 of the best. So, yeah, feel free to do that. But yeah, Clash, it was pretty good. Warm-up team. Ready for the album. Heading over to the NBA. No main event this week. Not the main event this week, but maybe it's the main event. Maybe you skip to it. We had Game 3. Game 3, Giannis is going crazy. Listen, Giannis Antetokounmpo is going absolutely insane here in the finals. He had 41, 13, and 6. Milwaukee gets the win 120-100. Scott Foster was the ref, so we knew that was going to happen. We knew Milwaukee was going to get the win here. Book had a bad game. He shot 3 for 14. The Suns weren't their best, and Giannis was his best, and that's what happened. Also, Drew Holiday. I've laminated countless times on this podcast about the Bucks supporting cast and how inconsistent they are. And it cost them the first 2 games. It did. Besides the Suns being great, The Bucks, besides Giannis being bad, was a big reason why they lost. Jrue Holiday had 21, 5, and 9, and they won this game. So that should tell you the difference. However, I just do not trust Jrue Holiday and Chris Middleton and the rest of that team to show up on a consistent basis. They have yet to prove that they can do that. When they're good, they're great. When they're bad, oh dear God, this team should be playing with Shanghai Sharks in the CBA. It can get bad, but it can also be great. But they haven't decided whether they want to be bad or great. They just keep flip-flopping. And that's going to cost them in the long run. It's nice right now, you got a game back, but don't bet on the Suns being this bad throughout the rest of the series, right? Don't bet on that. Giannis, I got nothing to say. Even though the free throws is still bad, even though you shot very well from free throw game last game, by the way. That was one of the big reasons why he got 40, because he was great from the free throw line. Even though that hasn't been the best, and your shooting, of course, isn't great, you can't shoot a lick, he still gets his stuff. He's a walking 30 and 10. It's not Giannis. It's the rest of that team has to show up if they want to get back in this series and if they want to win the championship. They got to do that. Suns just got to get back on track, get back to playing their ball, shake this loss off, and, get back to business in Game 4. We'll see. We'll see. It's an interesting finals, plenty of storylines to go around. And last major topic, I believe, last major topic here is the MLB. And we're going to start off with a little bit of a low note. Not something too happy. We'll talk about the All-Star festivities and all that stuff. But Ronald Acuna Jr., one of the biggest superstars in the game, one of the best players in the game, a young superstar. One of the future, when a guy, former number 1 overall prospect, tore an ACL, tried to get Chisholm's hit, came down wrong. It was just awful. It was awful. Even as not a guy that's a Braves fan, it just sucks to see, As a baseball fan, you hate to see young superstars, and especially a guy that's so exciting and so good like Acuna Jr. You just hate to see it. So, wishing all the best for Ronnie. Hopefully he's back by next season, back healthy. He's got a nice. That's the only good thing about when it happened. Well, it's not good that he got hurt, regardless, but him being injured now gives him some time to recover and hopefully get back, have a full recovery length, and get back next season and be good for the Braves. They've had a tough season with the injuries, so sucks to see that happen. Garrett Cole has had a rough season since the tar incident and all that stuff happened. But he showed up. The real Garrett Cole showed up against the Astros. Complete game shutout, 12 Ks, 129 pitches. He was great. Aaron Judge with the home run. A lot of people talking about the taunt. Astros had the last laugh, of course, in Game 3 yesterday as our bullpen. Listen, it's been so up and down as a Yankees fan. One time we're here, one day we're here. It's hard to be interested. It's hard to be interested when we're flip-flopping every game. It seems almost by the hour on whether we want to be a good team or a bad team. We don't know. We haven't figured it out yet. Aaron Boone deserves a lot of the flack about that. I'm not sure if he's the guy. If I'm being honest. I wouldn't be mad if we got rid of him. I wouldn't be mad. Wouldn't argue. Because our bullpen also, just the pitching is just not there. The hitting's been up and down. It's just been a rough season. But almost a bright spot. Almost swept the Astros. So there's that. A team that's also really in worse pain than us. The Arizona Diamondbacks. Got beat 22, you heard that right, 22-1. Which led to this tweet, but 22-1. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, D-backs fans. It's rough. It's rough. I get it. It's bad. It's bad out here for y'all. But, y'all did draft Jordan Lawler, and I'll talk about the draft next, so could be heading in the right direction. But for now, good luck. Good luck. Because it's been a bad season. It's been a rough season. I'll pour one out for y'all. MLB Draft. Henry Davis of the Louisville Cardinals goes first overall. One of the top catching prospects. I guess you could say the top catching prospect since Adley went first last year. Nobody really, there was like a tier. Like we had guys similar to the NBA Draft because of COVID, we had some uncertainty with baseball and the prospects. We had a tier of guys that a lot of people said were elite. And then it was like a little bit of a drop-off and a lot of mixed bag. Nobody really knew. Varying reports about where they would go. And even with that top tier of players, nobody really knew what order they were going to come. But Henry Davis goes first overall. Pirates went under the cap. I think that's what it's called. I feel like I'm saying that wrong. But under whatever it is. So they could save money. A lot of teams did that with some of their selections. So they could spend more money on their second, third, and fourth, right? Because of the uncertainty. So maybe there's better depth. You could get a steal in the second, in the third, and the fourth. A guy that should have went in the first, as we might find out, depending on how you develop him. So yeah, Henry Davis, though, very deserving of the first overall pick. Don't get it messed up. Jack Leader, future ace, and a part of that insane Vandy duo that I talked about all year. He goes to the Rangers, son of Al Leader. But Jack should be an ace for the Rangers, so congrats. Tigers get Jackson Jobe. He was the top high school arm. Marcelo Mayer, who many thought might be the number one guy, certainly a guy with some of the most upside in this draft, falls to the Red Sox at 4, so I'm sure they're ecstatic. Colton Cowser of Sam Houston State, one of the best center fielder prospects, one of the best outfield prospects, heads to the Orioles. Jordan Lawler, like I said, goes to the D-backs. A lot of people had him at number 1 on their draft board. Doesn't really do anything wrong. A lot of comparisons to Correa I've seen. Some comparisons to Jeter. So, yeah, big, high floor guy in Lawler. We'll see if he can reach some heights. Frank Mazzucato went to the Royals. That was a big surprise. A big surprise. But the Royals fell in love. They thought he was a really good pitcher. So, we'll see. Got to trust your scouting department in these cases. Benny Montgomery goes to the Rockies at 8, center fielder. Sam Bachman of Miami, Ohio to the Angels. And Kumar Rocker falls to 10, which was a little bit of a surprise here. But he heads to the Mets. Makes sense. Rocker plays good in the big time, except for the national championship there. But he heads to the Mets. He heads to New York. Hopefully he doesn't break us apart. A part of this insane run of high school shortstops this year, Brady House heads to the Nationals. They'll be ecstatic about that. Harry Ford to the Mariners. And to end off here, we go all the way to 16. A big surprise. Khalil Watson of Wake Forest falls all the way to 16 and goes to Miami. That could be a massive steal potentially, because a lot of people had him top 8 consensus. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Wake Forest, shout out to the 3-3. And to head over to the roundup, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the roundup as we have completed all of the major notes here. Let's go. Let's see. Wimbledon. Djokovic, Joker. It's been a good year for Jokers, right? It's been a good year for Jokers. You know, Jokic winning the MVP, and now Joker in tennis, tying Roger Federer and Rafael Nadal and continuing his bid for GOAT status by winning at Wimbledon and getting number 20 in the majors list. Yeah, it was a battle though. Got to give some respect to Bertolini. He gave Novak a big time test. And Novak passed it, of course. I mean, it's what he does. It's what he does. It's why he might be the best ever, even though I'm a Fed fan and I'll always love Fed. Novak might be the GOAT. He might be the GOAT. And I think he's going to pass them on this list sooner than later, and possibly in the U.S. Open. I wouldn't rule him out. Novak's been clearly the best player in the world this year. On the women's side, we had Jen Barty get it done against Pliskova, yeah. Barty beats Pliskova for her second major win. Number 1 player in the world. Hopefully we can get Naomi back in so we can get some Barty versus Osaka action. I think those are the 2 best women's players in the planet right now. Naomi taking a break for mental aspects. So all due respect to that. She can come back when she feels ready. But yeah, can't wait to see her back. Barty, congrats on the win. FIBA U19. I wasn't done with the championships yet. FIBA U19 World Cup. We got our matchup of the clash of the titans, the battle of the demigorgons. Chet Holmgren, Victor Wembanyama. We got it. We got it in the final. Vic won the matchup. He had 22, 8, and 8, and that's not 8 assists. That's 8 blocks. But Chet Holmgren gets tournament MVP, and he wins the gold medal with the USA. They win 83-81 in a very, very close game. I wasn't sure about Chet as tournament MVP. I think that could have gone to maybe Kenny Lofton. He was great in the final. Jaden Ivey was great throughout the tournament. But I won't really argue with it. Chet's a great player. He's a great prospect. He showed why multiple times throughout this tournament why he's so highly regarded and why he's so unique, and why it seems like him and Victor, two of a kind, honestly. And why Chet won all of that. Victor Wembanyama proved why he's the number one prospect in the world. I wanted to see what the hype is about. I understand. I get it. I get it. He changes the game completely, offensively and defensively. And at his size, even though got to put some more weight on, I agree with that. But from a skill standpoint, at that height, is just, I've never seen anything like it. Besides Chet, I've never seen anything like it, right? They're two of a kind. It's insane. But yeah, Wembanyama, I know a lot of people in that class thought Amani at first might be the generational prospect. I was never on that board. I felt like he was very physically developed and had a great skill set. He's an elite prospect, don't get me wrong. Amani Bates is a phenomenal prospect. But I knew the rest of his class was going to catch up, and they did this year. So if you're looking for a generational prospect, it might be Victor. All-tournament team, of course, had Chet and Vic. Jaden Ivey of Purdue, who's going to be a superstar in college basketball this year. He also makes the team. Nikolai Jovic, not Jokic, but Nikolai Jovic, also from Serbia, also very tall and also very talented. Rounds up the team with Zach Edney, also of Purdue. Purdue's going to have a good team next year with Edney and Ivy. Those guys look like they're bound to break out into superstardom. Edney, also another 7'3", 7'4" monster. A lot of tall boys, man. A lot of height. A lot of height. They do well in Tinder, man. They do well in these, dating apps. But being this good at basketball and the millions that these five should expect to make very, very soon, they probably wouldn't need any dating apps to get women. But yeah, U19 World Cup, it was very interesting. Saw some things that the college game should incorporate, returning to the pace of the game and the shot clock. But yeah, good stuff there. I won't say anything major about it, but Nigeria did beat the USA in an exhibition, so I did mention something about the 2004 Olympics. I wouldn't be shocked to see us pull something like that. Not that I'm panicking, but I just got a feeling with this team. I don't know why. I feel like we might get upset. But yeah, shout out to Nigeria. They shot out of their minds, so congrats there. But yeah, episode 49. Episode 50 is next week. Crazy. I enjoyed the journey. This has been absolutely amazing, this 11 months I've been doing this. So yeah, appreciate you guys. Hopefully it was a good episode. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed. But without further ado, Ocho signing off.